How could you do this to us?
The rain hammered against the window like accusatory fingers, each drop a reminder of the storm I'd unleashed. I stood frozen in our living room, the divorce papers clutched in my trembling hands, ink blurring from the tears I couldn't stop. Adultery. It read in cold, legal script, followed by a list of dates, times, and places that mapped out my secret life like a crime scene. My husband, Mark, loomed in the doorway, his face a mask of raw devastation, eyes red-rimmed, jaw clenched so tight I could hear his teeth grind. "You did things for him you'd never do for me," he whispered, voice cracking like thunder. In that instant, the world tilted, and I felt the ground crumble beneath me, pulling me into an abyss of my own making. It started innocently enough, or so I told myself. 6 months ago, the office air conditioner hummed incessantly, a white noise that drowned out the monotony of spreadsheets and deadlines. My boss, Alex, was a kind of man who commanded rooms without effort, sharp suits, sharper wit, and eyes that lingered just a second too long. I was buried in reports when he leaned over my desk, his cologne a spicy invasion of my space. "Laura, you're killing it on this project," he said, his hand brushing mine as he pointed to the screen. A spark jumped between us, electric and forbidden. I laughed it off, but that night, lying beside Mark, who snored softly after another exhausting shift at the hospital, I replayed the moment. Why did it thrill me? Mark was steady, loving, the man who'd held my hand through my mother's funeral. But Alex, he made me feel alive, desired in ways I'd forgotten. The doubts crept in slowly, like shadows lengthening at dusk. Late nights at work became routine. "Just one more revision," Alex would say, pouring wine from the mini-fridge in his office, the city lights twinkling below like distant stars mocking my vows. Our conversations turned personal. His failed marriage, my frustrations with Mark's long hours. "You deserve more," Alex murmured one evening, his fingers tracing the rim of his glass. Then mine. I pulled away, heart pounding, but the seed was planted. Guilt gnawed at me as I drove home, the car's heat to blasting warm air that couldn't thaw the chill in my chest. Was this flirting? No, I rationalized. It's just camaraderie. Mark trusted me. He'd even joked about my work husband. But in the quiet of our bedroom, as Mark's arm draped over me, I wondered if I was lying to myself. The first red flag waved during a team dinner, the restaurant's dim lights casting flickering shadows on white tablecloths. Alex sat beside me, his knee pressing against mine under the table, a deliberate touch that sent heat rushing through me. "You look stunning tonight," he whispered, his breath warm on my ear amid the clink of silverware and laughter from colleagues. I smiled, but inside, confusion swirled like the wine in my glass. Why didn't I move away? That night, Mark called while I was in the bathroom, splashing water on my flushed face. "Everything okay? Babe? You sound off." His voice was laced with concern, the same tenderness that had drawn me to him years ago. "Just tired." I lied, the word tasting like ash. Denial wrapped around me like a blanket. Alex was just being friendly, right? But fear whispered otherwise, a quiet dread that this path led somewhere dark. As weeks blurred into months, the lines dissolved. One stormy afternoon, the office empty except for us, Alex pulled me into his arms during a strategy session. His kiss was urgent, tasting of coffee and regret I hadn't yet felt. "I've wanted this for so long," he groaned, hands roaming where only Mark's had before. I hesitated, images of our wedding day flashing, Mark's joyful grin, the promise ring cool on my finger. But the thrill overpowered me. With Alex, I explored boundaries I'd never crossed with Mark, acts born of passion and novelty that made me feel reckless, reborn. Guilt hit like a wave afterward, as I straightened my clothes in the mirror, lipstick smudged, eyes avoiding my reflection. This can't happen again, I told myself, but it did. Stolen moments in hotel rooms, his apartment, each one eroding my soul a little more. Mark's suspicion simmered beneath the surface, subtle at first. He'd noticed my late arrivals, the faint scent of Alex's cologne clinging to my skin. "Rough day?" he'd ask, stirring past it in our cozy kitchen, the aroma of garlic and basil filling the air, a stark contrast to the sterile hotel sheets. "Yeah, the boss is demanding," I'd reply, forcing a smile, my heart twisting with love for him and hatred for myself. Anger bubbled when Mark worked doubles, leaving me alone with my thoughts. Wasn't this his fault, too? No, that was rationalization, a shield against the moral storm raging inside. I loved Mark, deeply, achingly. But Alex filled a void I hadn't known existed, a hunger for excitement in our predictable life. The unraveling accelerated one crisp autumn evening. I slipped home early, guilt propelling me to surprise Mark with dinner. But he was already there, sitting at the table with my phone in his hand, text from Alex glowing on the screen. "What is this?" he demanded, voice low and trembling, the room's silence broken only by the tick of the wall clock. My stomach plummeted, denial rising like bile. "It's nothing, just work stuff." But the messages were damning. "Can't wait to feel you again. Last night was incredible." Mark's face crumpled, anger flashing in his eyes. "Things you'd never do for me? With your boss." He hurled the phone. It skittered across the floor like my shattered trust. We argued for hours, my confession spilling out in sobs, his accusations cutting deep. "I thought we were forever," he said, tears streaming, his hands balled into fists not from violence, but pain. In the days that followed, confusion reigned. I begged for forgiveness, rationalizing my betrayal as a momentary lapse, but Mark's heartbreak hardened into resolve. He filed for divorce, and worse, he told everyone, friends, family, even posting veiled hints online that ripped through our social circle like wildfire. Whispers followed me. "Did you hear about Laura?" Shame boned, guilt a constant companion as I replayed every choice. Alex? He distanced himself, claiming it was just fun. His motivations revealed as selfish ambition, using me to boost his ego, nothing more. I was left alone, staring at the ruins. But the twist came in a late-night email from an anonymous sender, photos of Alex with other women, timestamps overlapping our affair. He'd been playing multiple games, and Mark had known for weeks, hiring a PI not out of paranoia, but quiet certainty. The betrayal wasn't just mine. It was a web of deceit that ensnared us all. As I sat in the empty house, rain still pounding, I realized the deepest cut. I'd destroyed the one real thing for illusions. Heartbreak swallowed me whole, leaving only echoes of what could have been.